Hello, welcome to Health Talk, where all we do is talk health. On Health Talk, we track down medical experts who help us understand issues that affect our health. Today we'll be looking at how our lifestyle affects the health of our brain. Dr. Abayomi Aishemodu is on standby to help us understand this issue. Thank you so much, Dr. Aishemodu, for joining us on the show. Many people don't really know what the brain is and how important the brain is. What exactly is the brain?
Thank you very much. The brain, talking about its location or where it is, I think that's about the simplest thing you can ask about the brain, because the brain is that which occupies the inside of the skull. It is part of what we call the central nervous system of the human body. The other parts of the central nervous system being the spinal cord, which starts right from the brain itself and goes down the spine. So those two constitute the central nervous system, but the brain is what you have inside this skull.
Okay, doctor, are you saying the brain is the most important part of the human anatomy?
Relatively speaking, you can say the brain is one of the most important parts of the human anatomy. You cannot say it is the most important because, for example, without the heart beating, the brain itself would be dead. However, the brain occupies a very special place, not only in human anatomy, but in human physiology, human body function, in that it has the role of a central control of everything else that happens in the body. And this brain is said to be the most complicated thing that human beings know about. And that is something else that makes it very, very special.
Okay, now what's the correlation between a person's lifestyle and the brain health?
By talking about brain health and lifestyle, the whole idea is to enlighten the public as to the profound effect that lifestyle has on the health of the brain. And the things which we want to focus on as far as lifestyle is concerned will be your habits of exercising, for example, or perhaps even to start with your habit of sleeping, how well you exercise, the way you manage your stress, the extent to which you socialize as a person. We also want to talk about what we call the social habits. That is, do you smoke or do you not smoke? How much caffeine do you take? Do you take alcohol? If so, how much? Are you one of those who take recreational drugs? All these social habits have a profound effect on the brain.
Now, what are the lifestyle factors that can contribute to the malfunctioning of the brain?
The factors in one's lifestyle that can make a big difference to the health of your brain, as I indicated, we could start with sleep, for example. Nature has designed it that you sleep for 1/3 of the 24 hours in a day. And it's been found that if you shortchange yourself on sleep on a long-term basis, you end up doing a lot of damage to your brain. Because it is during sleep, for example, that the brain rejuvenates itself. When the hormones produced by stress go down, like cortisol and adrenaline, then the brain starts producing its own growth hormone, which it uses to repair itself and to regenerate itself, to throw out new branches in the nerves that make it up. So consistently depriving yourself of an adequate amount of sleep is a big risk factor to your suffering from premature decline in your mental faculties. So people are advised to sleep some 7 to 8 hours every day and observe regular sleeping times.
What are people that cannot sleep, that they find it so difficult to sleep at night? They have insomnia and they take some drugs to relieve that. Does that drug have any effect on their brain health?
Definitely. If you have insomnia, it means that you should have it treated. Otherwise, you will be shortchanging yourself as far as sleep is concerned, and your brain will suffer accordingly. When you treat yourself, or when you are treated for insomnia, the way you are treated is also important, because if you use certain medications, which although they make you sleep, they may also be depressing the activity of your brain. So you have to strike a balance between these two. And as much as possible, you try and use as natural a method to be able to sleep well at night as possible.
What is the effect of alcohol consumption to our brain health?
Alcohol consumption plays an important role in the health of the brain. And the emphasis is on not excessively consuming alcohol. It's been known, for example, that maybe 1 to 6 glasses of red wine in a week could even have a positive effect as far as stroke is concerned. But alcohol, in whatever form that is excessive, is known to actually damage the brain cells. Yes, alcohol that is excessive damages the brain cells. And there are scans that have been taken of alcoholics that show defects in the brains of the alcoholics, indicating that those places of defects are places where the brain is working at a suboptimal level. And when you compare what you find during the scan of the brain of an alcoholic to the brain of a healthy person, the difference is as clear as day and night.
Let's look at stress now. How does stress have a negative effect on our brain health?
Stress is a subject which is much spoken about, and it is something that is very much in the awareness of the public generally. But most of the time, when people think about stress, they think about stress not only as being a proxy killer to almost all diseases. They think about stress and heart attack. They think about stress and stroke. But they're not aware of the fact that stress itself, or rather the hormones that are produced in consequence of stress, that they actually kill your brain cells. And the hormone in question here is cortisol. And this kills your brain cells in a number of ways. It can interfere with the way your brain cell is able to use glucose. And glucose is the only thing the brain can use for energy. And if it cannot do this, the cells can die. It can even interfere with the way the brain cells communicate one with the other by interfering with the production of what we call neurotransmitters, which are the chemicals with which brain cells communicate one with the other. And also it's been shown that stress, or rather cortisol produced by stress, if it gets to a certain level, it can result in calcium rushing into the cells to an excessive degree. And when that happens, a lot of free radicals are produced, which can then kill the cells. So the main point being made here is that stress itself can be something that actually kills brain cells.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is Health Talk, where all we do is talk health. Dr. Ishimoju has been our guest expert on the show this week and has been telling us how to take good care of our health, particularly how our lifestyle can have impact on our brain health. We'll take a short breather now and we'll be right back after the break. So staying with us on Health Talk, we are still looking at how best to take care of our brain. Now, Dr. Ishimoju, is there any correlation between sexual intercourse and our brain health?
The correlation between sexual intercourse and brain health is something that has been a subject of study. And broadly speaking, when you speak about sexual intercourse, you bring it under the broader concept of bonding between people, of warm, intimate exchanges between people. And it so happens that human beings are made such that bonding between them brings about a positive change in their chemistry. There is in fact a hormone called the bonding hormone or the love hormone or the cuddle hormone. It is called oxytocin. This hormone has its advantages as far as health is concerned, not only for the brain but for the entire body, because it does two major things. It helps you to be able to withstand stress better, and secondly, it helps you to be able to adapt to your environment, so that in this sense, you have the physiological advantage that accrues from sexual intimacy.
Okay, now to now take me to this question. How can we take good care of our brain?
Talking about protecting your brain health, everything we've been saying so far already falls under that umbrella, but there is an aspect of protection of the brain per se that needs to be spoken about. And that is that we should all be very careful and protect our brains from physical trauma. We should wear our seat belts in our cars. We shouldn't walk in places where we are likely to be hit on the head without proper helmet protection. The reason I say this is that it is not just a trauma that takes you to hospital that matters. A little trauma here, another one there, has been shown in the long run to sometimes accumulate into what will now begin to show in the decline of your mental abilities or even manifest in your behavior. People do not take trauma to the head seriously enough. But apart from that, there's also need to realize that many toxins around can be injurious to the brain. The solvents, for example, which you have in paint, the solvent you have in nail polish, the solvents you have in the things you use in finishing furniture, or even the insecticides that we use in our homes, or the air fresheners that we spray, or those who are exposed to petrol to a large degree. All these things are known to be injurious to the brain, and everybody should be aware of that fact and protect his or her brain from them. Otherwise, the accumulation of injury now and again repeatedly could end up jeopardizing your brain health.
So now you are telling us now that it's wrong for teachers to beat their pupils on the head or for parents to spank their children on the head?
Absolutely. In fact, one must also include here not just people who are being beaten on the head. Certain sports in which you hit your head, maybe against the ball, or risk being hit in the head, they fall under this category of things that must be thought about very, very seriously, because they do have their deleterious effects. Trauma to the brain of any form, to any considerable degree, is something that should be discouraged.
Is there any relationship between pregnancy and the brain health? When a woman is pregnant, does it have anything to do with her brain?
Interestingly, yes, there is. The main thing here is that in the course of pregnancy, the baby being formed in the womb has priority over the mother. And one of the most demanding organs developing in the baby's body is the brain. And for the development of the brain, it needs these fatty acids. Rather than the baby not have enough, it is the mother who would be deprived. And that's why you find some mothers, after they've given birth, they find that mentally they're not really all there. Sometimes they even go into depression. So this is an important point, that a woman who wants to have a baby should also ensure that she nourishes herself enough to have enough supply of these vital nutrients for her to share with her baby as it develops in her womb.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishimosh, for being part of our program today. I know our viewers must have learned one or two things on how their lifestyle have effects on their brain health. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Hope to see you some other times.
Thank you.
For questions about today's discussions and any other health issues, please drop a tweet for us at TVC Health Talk or at TVC News Nigeria. My name is Oluwatoyin.